John Smoltz with us for a couple of minutes. Fox, Major League Baseball, lead analyst, Hall of Famer. Nice enough to take some time to talk some spring training with us. In this offseason, what has caught your eye most, John?
Well, this state the obvious, the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, it has been kind of, I think everybody anticipated that Shohei Ohtani was going to stay on the West Coast and probably go to the neighbors of the Dodgers. I don't know that people could have anticipated that kind of contract, the details of it, the uniqueness of it. And I think the big thing is they are not done. And they made the trades for a pitcher, signed Glass now, and then went out and signed a 12-year contract. So I said this, it's very intriguing, a lot of pressure on the Dodgers, but if you're a baseball player playing for the Dodgers, that's the way you want it. You want to have the pressure on you coming to spring training, and now it's about championships. You know, the Dodgers and the Yankees primarily have been about championships, right, from the history of their organization. So this is a kind of a big stamp towards trying to get that accomplished.
You bring Yamamoto in as well, and there's a lot of conversation about, is this good for the game of baseball, the Ohtani contract? What is that setting up towards? Can you address that a little bit?
Yeah, it's unique. I think it's more to speak about the player and his willingness to do something. This is a copycat league. It always has been. Once somebody kind of embarks on a unique contract, then you see a lot of teams and a lot of players going after that. I don't know if this is going to be one of those. This is unique in every aspect. There is a 43 or 44 million dollar hit to the Dodgers, but this is all about now one of the greatest generational players in the history of the game. There's marketing all over it. There's a business side to it all over it. Trust me, Ohtani and his unique special talent and really his unique personality allowing this to happen did create creativity for the Dodgers to go and do exactly what we just said with the other two pitchers. And the one thing I'm surprised about, honestly, is that for Ohtani to be the greatest player in the world, he needs to do both things. We know he can't do it this year, but how much will he be able to do it in the length of that contract, which will be very unique, because I don't think the Dodgers signed him to just be a DH or an outfielder. So that's what's going to be. I'm going to be very intrigued. I root for him. I wish that he stays healthy, but two Tommy Johns is two Tommy Johns. And that's the unknown factor in this contract.
Take a step back on the Rangers, because they train out here, and the Diamondbacks obviously being here, the two World Series teams that you broadcast and you saw. What do you look at them from the lens coming into this season in spring training?
I think it's a perfect example of why baseball can be played two different ways and have success in two different ways. The Diamondbacks are not going to have the payroll of the Dodgers. Matter of fact, they may not have the payroll of the entire length of the contract of Shohei Ohtani for 5-6 years. Who knows? But what they figured out with the rules and the changes in baseball, they can put pressure on teams in a different way. And I think that uniqueness and taking advantage of that skill set is why they shocked everybody. I think it's a great story. I think that teams are going to start copying that kind of narrative. They can't all copy the Dodgers and the Yankees. You just can't. And I think baseball is unique. That doesn't guarantee anything, but when you play the game right and you use the pieces that you have, both the Rangers and the Diamondbacks in totally different ways played the game and obviously ended up in the World Series. The Rangers relied on a heavy, quick strike, big time offense that did not steal bases, that did not create havoc on the base pass. They created havoc at the plate with the long ball, whereas the Diamondbacks had a combination. And I think they're just starting to begin to understand what they can be, even though they have a monster in their division, even though the payroll is not even in the same atmosphere. I think they feel like they can compete with anybody if they play their game.
And the Rangers coming back in, we'll see them out at Surprise Stadium in spring training. What do you make out of Boch's squad?
I think the Rangers are all about the health of their starting pitching. Now, they've already had a couple that just, are not going to be able to pitch this year, but they showed the combination of leadership, true heart, and everybody pulling in the same direction. I think baseball, again, we want to quantify everything. We want to put a stamp and an analytic on everything. And the Rangers showed why, if you have it in balance and you're not out of whack, that you can do something in the history of game that's never been done. There is no chance that you can tell me that a team's going to go 11-0 on the road again. It just doesn't seem like that's even possible. To go where they came, to do what they did from Seattle to Tampa, all the way, and then the journey of that just speaks to what special sauce they had in their locker room. And people ask me all the time, like, how do you explain it? I said, there's no analytic to explain it. It's a special sauce. It's something that only players know, that when they step in that locker room, they believe in something that the outside world has no idea about. Now, whether they got mad, and probably did, from Seattle to Tampa, it spurned a focus, but their manager is a huge reason why this game is not as easy from the outside looking in that anybody can manage. Like, anybody can take the information and run the gamut. That's not, and it's never been that case. And I think we saw the evidence of it this year.
Before I get you out of here, and I appreciate your time, John Smoltz with us, the Hall of Famer, Fox lead baseball analyst. There's new bench bosses, just movement. Counsell goes over to the Cubs. Bomel goes up to the Giants. The Padres, the Angels. There's just new managers. Guardians, of course, over in Goodyear where they train. Is there a team or two that you're interested in seeing how spring goes for them with the new managers, John?
I think the Chicago Cubs are going to be an intriguing one, because they've always been in the mix of, when we had TBS, it was WGN and TBS, right? It was the Cubs and the Braves. And the Cubs have always had this incredible, unique, not only stadium that they've retrofit, their locker rooms. It's almost like they've fit into what's going on right now. And they shocked a lot of people last year for a while, especially the way that made the run. But I didn't see that move coming, to be honest. So to have that interdivisional managerial move, to me, is going to be very intriguing to see how that shapes the Chicago Cubs in a division that pretty much is winnable by anybody. You can make that claim. So that was an interesting and kind of surprising move. That it would be interesting to see how it plays out.
Appreciate your time. Let you get to the course off your frost delay. Thanks, John.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.